I'm going to talk about the signs of heat. In a piggery, we have there are two types of heat. We have the silent heat, and an animal can have a silent heat, and another one you can have the signs that can be shown up. So when the pig is on heat, when the sow is on heat, the valve swells. There is a distant swelling of the valve. That one is an indication that your sow is on heat. Another thing is that the the sow becomes restless. It does not sleep. It does not stand, it does not move very well, so it keeps on moving around, climbing the pigsty, meaning that it is on heat. So once you observe that your pig is climbing the pigsty, is restless, so you have to observe those signs and you know that your pig is on heat. Another sign is that when there are two in one room, you find that sow is climbing others. So it keeps on mounting others, so it means that it is also on heat. Another sign is that there is a distant colorless substance that comes out of the valve. So it means that an animal, the pig is on heat. I'm going to talk about the management of pregnant sow. So when your sow is pregnant, we have different management practices that we do for the proper growth of the inside piglets. So what we do, you have to give your animal multivitamin to increase on appetite of the animal. Another thing is still you have to deworm your animal, your sow, when it is pregnant on the last month of pregnancy. Still, when a sow is pregnant, it does not need that to move long distances. So it is advisable that you provide the shelter, the pigsty. Still, after providing the pigsty, you give them water and feed inside the room. So it means that it does not need to make long distances, to move long distances. Still, as a management practice, what you need to do when after providing it with a pigsty, that pigsty, it must be having enough space for that animal to move around, because when the space is small, it is not good for a pregnant animal, because it needs to make some exercises while moving. So the place must be at least big enough for that animal. Another thing, when the animal is pregnant, still you have to do what we call steaming up. Steaming up, it is the process of adding feeds, nutritious feeds to a pregnant animal. Why do we do steaming up? We do steaming up so that the piglets that are going to be born are born when they are healthy. And when piglets are healthy, meaning that they will be resistant to diseases. So we have to do steaming up. Mostly we do steaming up on the last month. Still you add on the feeds, and when it is remaining with only 3 days to produce, to follow, you slow down the feed to the normal kilogram. Those are the 3 kilograms. So the reason as why we slow down or we reduce on the feed is that to avoid constipation, because when you keep on giving it a lot of food during the process of furrowing, may experience some constipation problems. So you have to reduce on the feeds. Still, when the sow is about to produce, you have to provide it with clean beddings, like the sawdust you can put there. the tree leaves, but the dry ones, and you crush them into smaller particles so that they does not pierce the piglets. So at least you have to make sure that the room is equipped with clean beddings, because when the beddings are not clean, the pigs, the piglets that are born may come into contact with those dirty things inside the room, and you find that they are getting the infection. So the room for the pregnancy must be clean enough. Another thing is that when the pig is pregnant, anytime it must be having water for drinking, because when you don't give it a lot of water, it keeps on panting, and panting, it stresses animal, so you have to always put there the clean water for drinking. Kawaki. So I'm going to talk about the signs of furrowing. One, we have distant swelling of the valve. So when the valve swells, it means that it is about to produce. Another sign is that there is abdominal contraction. So another sign is that sometimes there is a fluid substance on the valve coming outside. So still that one is also a sign of furrowing. Another sign is that the sow start making a nest in the litter. So an animal also is very sensitive, so it keeps on making a nest inside the litter, so that its piglets that it is going to produce have where to sleep. That is the signs of furrowing. Lastly, another sign that comes out, there is a bloody substance also that comes outside. So after observing some blood stains outside the valve, you know that your pig is about to furrow. I'm going to talk about the management in piglets. So immediately when the piglets are born, it is advisable for the farmer that at least you take the records, and when the piglet, the sow is to produce. So on the third day, when it is about to produce, you keep on monitoring the sow. So what you do is that when a piglet is born with a long navel cord, it is advisable that you cut it short, because the piglet will keep on dragging it on the ground, hence getting some infections. So it is advisable for the farmer to use a surgical blade and you cut that navel cord short. Another thing, when the piglet is having mucus on the nose, so it is advisable still for the farmer that you remove those membranes and you hold the hind legs, and the head is facing, while the head is facing down, so that piglet, it will be able to breathe. Another thing is that on the second day, it is also advisable that you give them iron injection, because we assume that the sow that produced those piglets has been lacking iron. So it is also advisable that you give them iron on the second or on the third day of life. So another management practice in piglets is tooth clipping. Tooth clipping, it is also advisable that when the piglet is still young, it is advisable that you cut the needle teeth short. Reason being, it will cause injuries when suckling its mother. Still, when it grows, it may also injure or damage other piglets. So it is also advisable that you cut the needle tooth short.